What's up guys, the Red Cloak here, and today is what if Deku had a copy quirk. You guys may be asking how the hell will Deku get a copy quirk, and will the copy quirk be like the guy from Class 1B? His quirk will work different than Monoma or the Class 1B jerk. Well, without all that out of the way, let's get right into the intro and let's hit it.
Yeah, hold up, what the fuck? Hey, bass in the trunk, yeah. Shorty wanna fuck, but I'm busy getting bucks. If you know my fucking name, you know my music bumps. If you hate my fucking shit, you a motherfucking chump. Hey, ooh, yeah, damn, Billy stay high like a kite. Yeah, bitch, I blew up overnight. Yeah, you know the world around town. Hey, my diamonds bright like a light. Yeah, my music different, I'm right. Hey, my music different, I'm right. Yeah, who the fuck else sounds like this? Hey, my music different, I'm right. I don't give up.
We should probably get into Deku's quirk and how it works, and basically how it's kind of the same as Monoma, but with a twist to it. For this, Deku needs to touch somebody to make sure this quirk actually activates, and he actually can store some quirks inside of himself. Deku only has 2 slots, and basically the quirks that he has in 2 slots, he only uses 2 quirks at a time, and they have a time limit of 30 minutes. The 2 quirks are basically the most he can use, and if the quirk's too powerful for him, well, he can still use it, but he probably just destroy his body. And if Deku runs out of stamina, well, he can't use his quirk, or if he continues using it, he's probably just going to faint and knock out due to exhaustion. You guys may be asking, can Deku use the full power of somebody's quirk? Well, yes, but it's going to slice off his minutes, going to 30 minutes to going to 5 minutes. Deku can actually combine his quirks, but that's for a completely different training arc, so yeah, I'm not going to go into that. I'll get into that when we actually get into the training arc. Right now, Deku can only use 2 quirks at a time, and let's get into the story. Also, I did take a good old Ryo route from the Black Clover series, because he can actually touch somebody's grimoire and actually copy it, and that's actually kind of cool, because I want to go with that route with Deku. Starting at the age of 5, Deku would actually develop his quirk, and the first thing he would actually develop, his mom's quirk. He'd actually gravitate some stuff from the ground. The second quirk he actually copies is Bakugo's, and Bakugo wouldn't actually be a complete, how do I put this nicely, an asshole. This actually wouldn't make Bakugo actually hate Deku, but it would actually give him a sense of rivalry. Bakugo would be kind of neutral to Deku, and Deku still likes Bakugo, so we all good. A few years would pass and Bakugo and Deku would try to go to a high school called UA High. This time Bakugo doesn't get mad at Deku for applying to UA High because he knows he's capable. This time Bakugo doesn't actually throw Deku's book down the freaking roof, and he doesn't tell him to kill himself. This time Deku actually walks his same route, and he actually gets attacked by the sludge villain. This time, instead of Deku being a helpless little enough with my profanity, well, this fight is actually going to go pretty different. Deku would actually bob and weave and actually use Bakugo's quirk and actually shoot some explosions at the sludge villain. Deku's only using this quirk because, let's be honest, and let's be real, his mother's quirk ain't gonna work. So he actually still bobs and he actually shoots explosions, but he actually gets caught by the sludge villain. He thinks it's the end until All Might comes and saves him. All Might would then smile at Deku and then say that his quirk's fascinating, and Deku would actually say it's a copy quirk before All Might can even leave. Deku actually grabs onto him as usual, and basically they still have this whole talk, but this time All Might says he can be a hero. I'm having this here because, let's be honest, I can't really have Deku not meeting All Might or not having the same relationship with All Might as in the original, so I'm keeping this, so you have to get used to it. All Might still leaves and actually finds out that the sludge villain has escaped and basically goes and attacks Bakugo. Deku still charges in to save his friend, but this time he actually copies All Might's quirk, and this ain't gonna be looking good for this Deku. I know Deku's still a little bit stronger than he was in the original, like he's not as skinny as the same one he was in the original, but still, this is gonna hurt. Deku uses One For All and actually grabs Bakugo. This time, All Might would actually jump in and actually completely demolish the sludge villain. All Might would then say, I am here, and then All Might would actually tell Deku that was amazing. All Might would then ask Deku, what is your quirk? Deku would then say, well, it's a copy. I can copy somebody's quirk for 30 minutes. All Might would then say, fascinating, just see Deku's arm is completely broken, and then All Might would then say, the quirk you used back there was mine. Deku's in awe and just says, wait, what? Deku would then say, what do you mean it was yours? All Might would still tell him about One For All and basically all the quirks of it. For the people who think Deku's still gonna get One For All, he's not, because he technically just has in his copy quirk, so basically All Might doesn't see their need to actually give it to him. All Might would then tell Deku that he was gonna pass it down to somebody, but Deku technically already has the quirk, so All Might basically has 2 One For All users, well, one that can only use for 30 minutes. And yes, All Might's still gonna give Mario the quirk, but All Might actually suggested that Deku should train with him so he can actually master One For All with his copy quirk. Deku actually agrees and just says yes. I'm not going to get into the 10 months of training he did with All Might because that's something y'all can just watch, and basically we'll just say he got a little bit stronger, so we don't need to get to that training arc or that extra training for UA's entrance exam. Like in the original, Deku would actually still trip and he actually still meets Uraraka. Deku would actually go in the building and actually get ready to do the test. Oh yeah, in that 10 months training span, he actually does meet Mario, and Mario actually does possess One For All now. This time Deku would actually be racking up points by actually using Bakugo's quirk and actually destroying the robots behind him and in front of him. Bakugo, he does yell out, "Stop copying me," then Deku just says, "This is kind of my quirk, so I kind of have to copy somebody." Deku's slot for quirks right now is basically Bakugo's quirk and One For All, which he's not going to use yet. When it looks like Uraraka is actually kind of hurt and actually about to get completely crushed by the 0-point bot, Deku actually decides it's time to use One For All. Deku actually jumps up in the air and actually charges it with a Detroit Smash, or basically a smash. Deku actually still breaks his arm and actually goes to the nurse, and the nurse actually basically heals him, but this time Deku actually copies her quirk, well, touches her and then copies it. Deku now has a healing factor in case he either breaks his hand or gets injured, so basically he doesn't really have to rely on the nurse that much. Deku would actually be accepted into UA, and this would actually mean he is actually in Class 1A. Deku actually does something very smart and actually touches everyone in Class 1A, including Shozo. So basically he has their quirks stored up. Deku basically has 20 students' quirks that he can use to his advantage to become a hero. Aizawa still comes in, and basically the quirk physical still goes as planned. I'm not going into basically everything in the exam or basically everything in the physical, so basically we'll just say Deku places in the top 10, and this means Venetta's out of this class. In the original, basically, Aizawa said he's not going to expel anyone. Well, he only said that because he saw Midoriya, basically, his improvement, his potential. But since Midoriya is already pretty good and Aizawa already knows that, Mineta kinda gotta go. Yes, I'm sorry that a GOAT has to leave this place, but don't worry, we're gonna have to replace him with Class 1B's Gendo. The days would then pass, and then basically, All Might would actually congratulate Deku for basically passing. Basically, the next day would go by, and the heroes versus the villains thing would actually go as planned. This time, Bakugo ain't really that angry, he's just aggravated that Deku's leaping ahead of him time and time again. And this time, this fight isn't a one-sided massacre, so basically Deku doesn't look hopeless. Deku would actually order Uraraka to run, basically Deku and Bakugo would have their face-off, or basically showdown. Deku would actually copy his explosions, and both of them would charge at each other. Bakugo would then smile and say, "You really like copying my explosions, does it really get you to victory that quick?" Bakugo would then smirk and just say, "Let me show you why I'm the original Action with a big, large explosion and a stun grenade." Deku would use the stun grenade as well, and actually gain some distance from Bakugo. Deku would then blast the roof above Bakugo, and actually Robo would actually fall on Bakugo. Deku would actually run up and try to go to Uraraka. Bakugo would get back up and actually blitz towards Deku and actually shove him to the wall. This fight is actually getting completely intense, and basically everyone can see it. Deku would actually then say, "It's time that I use it." Bakugo would then hear this from a mumble from Deku, and he would just say, "Use what?" Deku would then clock his fist back and then just yell, "Smash!" Bakugo could see this coming, so he actually used the explosion blast, but this time Deku actually raises it up to the roof and basically blasts the whole rooftop. This would actually help Uraraka touch the bomb, basically using the Rebel, actually using it as her gravity stuff. Deku would basically collapse on the ground, and Bakugo would just be in shock. He'd kinda be pissed, but he's still in shock. All the fights would go as normal, but this time Deku was actually able to heal himself and actually see some of the fights. Yaoyorozu and basically Kendo's teamwork is actually completely amazing, and everyone can see that. Might would then congratulate Deku, and basically Bakugo doesn't really leave, he's just kind of pissed himself, and he actually does ask Deku, "What the hell was that?" And Deku actually just say a quirk that I copied. Bakugo doesn't really pry on it, he actually does say that he'll surpass him and Todoroki. Deku then nods and say, "I'll just surpass you both again." All Might will then come up and just say they both did good. Now, we're actually getting to the USJ portion of things. They're actually get on the bus, and this time Deku actually touches Aizawa and actually gets his quirk. Everyone's interested in the USJ, but it's all cool until the villains attack. When Deku gets separated, he actually has two smart teammates, Froppy, Sue, and Kendo. Yeah, Kendo is very smart. I hope you guys do know that. She's as smart as Yaoyorozu. So we're looking bright for Deku, basically, because he doesn't have Mineta, basically kind of like complaining, just completely screaming on the top of his lung. Deku puts two quirks in his slots, basically being Aizawa's Eraser quirk and basically his own One For All, or basically All Might's One For All. Deku would actually look at them, look at the other fighters and the other villains, and actually erase their quirks, and this would actually mean Kendo and Froppy can actually go to work. Villains completely get pummeled by this whole trio because this trio is completely too strong, and now the villains are basically down and defeated, while Deku, Kendo, and Froppy actually go out and actually try to look for Aizawa. Shigaraki basically still beats Aizawa with the Nomu, and basically Shigaraki does blitz towards Froppy, but this time Deku's actually able to erase his quirk. In this brief moment of Shigaraki not having a quirk, Deku would actually sideline kick Shigaraki to the ground. This quirk actually does wonders. It actually kind of makes Shigaraki bleed. Deku's about to hit Shigaraki with a One For All punch until the Nomu gets in the way. Nomu's about to break Deku's arm, and basically Shigaraki's about to get his quirk back because Deku just blinked. It's until All Might comes in and basically wrecks the Nomu. All Might just says he's here and that everyone should be safe for now. All Might still has a scuffle with, the Nomu, and this time Todoroki, Deku, Bakugo, and Kirishima actually jump in. This time Deku actually provides support for All Might. Deku would erase the Nomu's quirk, and basically this would actually give All Might the opening to actually punch him in the face. And while the fight's going on, Deku's 30-minute time slot would actually be done, and this time Deku would actually pick a different quirk. His quirk would still be One For All, and basically Bakugo's explosion quirk. All Might finishes off the Nomu, and basically All Might's at his limit. No, I'm serious, he has his complete limit. Shigaraki would then charge at All Might until Deku hops in. When Deku charges at Shigaraki, so does Bakugo. Both of them in unison would actually use the explosion to actually stun Shigaraki with a stun grenade. Bakugo and Deku actually focus their attention on Kurogiri. Bakugo would actually pin down Kurogiri, and this would actually mean Deku can go all out against Shigaraki. Deku actually seems like he's being Shigaraki until Kurogiri actually warps Shigaraki right behind Deku. This actually seems to be the end of Deku until the heroes come in. All the things would play out as per normal, and basically All Might would actually still go into his skinny form, and Deku would actually try to cover it up. And while Deku is actually completely healing from the technically not even a broken arm, since he didn't use all one for all. So basically this arc ends in a abrupt and kind of the same way. Well, this is where I end off this what if. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Make sure to comment down below what was your favorite part. I'm gonna head up out of here. It's been the Red Cloak, and I'm out.